Has anyone else noticed that this new opponent in Jujutsu Kaisen looks like Uta from Tokyo Ghoul? Went and spent a summer in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and is now, ready to lay down some havoc within the series. But other than that, we got some really nice character moment again from Megumi, leading off from the last chapter where we saw his area expansion and him defeating the cursed spirit that was creating that entire barrier and getting one of Sukuna's fingers back that hopefully they can actually keep possession of this time. But after he, just you could tell the look on his face, that super drained out like look in his eyes where it just looks like he's about to pass out. And right after that, we actually got Sukuna, who was commenting about how, what he did was good. And even that small moment with Sukuna was very interesting because, Sukuna he's got interest in Megumi. I'm wondering what exactly his overall plan is to do that. Is he going to try and steal his body, go into him? I think it might have been hinted at early in the series. I have to go back and check, but we'll just get to where this chapter is for now. I mean, it's stutter like that, jeez. But we have a flashback, Megumi just kind of reminiscing, and I like this really cool moment with him when he's talking to this dude underneath the mound of people. He just beat the crap out of him, and he's like asking him about the minimum requirement for human interaction, and it's pretty much like, I won't kill you, please don't kill me. And it just came down to like them discussing what exactly, not even really discussing, it was really just Megumi talking to him and telling him basically, don't go and like violate another person's dignity and just acknowledge that they exist. And as long as you don't violate those, you're pretty much good. And he's just like, well, if you do it again, then I might just actually kill you. And the dude's just like, I don't know what exactly we did. But there was a part after that where it showed like some dudes who I guess were getting bullied and being used by a bunch of people. I'm guessing that's when it was. Maybe Megumi overheard it, and because he doesn't look to be friends with these guys, maybe he overheard it and he just decided that he was going to take care of these guys himself. Maybe it bothered him to think that they were these dudes were all getting abused and used, probably like to do their homework, give them money. And he just decided to take it upon himself to help them and what exactly he wanted to do in this. Because he has a moment later when he's thinking about like he doesn't like bad people with no brains and zero emotional capability. He doesn't like good people that just forgive everybody else without mercy. And he's just kind of like again like thinking over his entire character of what exactly pisses him off and what brings him to the edge. And like, I guess this scenario was potentially dudes getting bullied, and while doing it, he says like he chooses who he wants to help, so he doesn't just come off with like, I want to help everybody. It seems to be a very selective case. And then you get to see his sister, who I guess their parents were married very briefly, but he still kind of sees her as his sister, which is a nice interaction between the two. And she's just like trying to lecture him, and he's just like, I don't have to listen to you. And she chucks like a thing of like juice at him or milk or something. I think it's juice, and just like bursts open on his head. They just have this really kind of goofy moment where they're talking. And he's just kind of annoyed by it. I'm sure they didn't do anything. Maybe not of like fodder, but like threw something back. I feel like that's something you would have done in that situation. But then he's like thinking about exactly like what his situation is, meeting Satoru, and essentially him and his sister, after a large amount of debt was made to their family, and his father, who left the Zenin clan, who were powerful, a family of Jujutsu sorcerers, very powerful people. And they were pretty much Megumi and his sister, what was her name? Sukumi. They were pretty much, or actually, Sumiki, and they were pretty much sold to the family to be Jujutsu sorcerers in exchange to cover that debt. They were used as collateral in this situation. He's just like, whatever, this is bullshit, but I guess I have to do it. But it was seemingly that moment where Sumiki was cursed. She fell into a coma. Reasons and origin are unknown. The only thing they know about it is that she is still asleep. And it was kind of cool because after he's like, okay, I took care of the barrier, and I got this part all taken care of, it still doesn't help me in my actual goal, like still like undoing the curse that's keeping her asleep. So you got some good, I actually really liked the way this was laid out, because you got to see a character's motivation without it directly like having to be like laid out entirely over like the course of the specific fight. Like he still had like a good flashback and a good character development moment, but you found out what exactly he's working towards through like, okay, I did this, but I guess my, that doesn't mean my mission's done, whatever my goal is. I just like the way it was handled in the fact that it kind of like related to what he had just did, taking care of a different curse. Kind of probably just you think about it, you think about one thing and just because whatever your main primary kind of like idea of what you're doing may have some relations to it. Like if you made lunch and it's like, well, I haven't made dinner, so I still got food to make later. Just the way that that's kind of presented, I like that. And just like the fact that he was able to give us what he's working towards without having to feel kind of like ham-fisted in. But then we get back to Kugisaki, who's fighting against this guy. I didn't see if he's got a name at some point, but when he's like running backwards weirdly against Kugisaki, she's like, can you stop doing that weird running? It's getting kind of annoying. And he's just like, oh, it's because I don't want people to see my back. So, I have this weird way that I run. And then right up behind him comes Yuji and the weird double-faced cursed spirit that he's fighting. And you see on the dude's back, he's got like this weird like bleeding black eyes and like grotesque looking mouth like design. And both Yuji and the cursed spirit that he's fighting were both like, we didn't do it on purpose. Sorry, it was kind of like an accident. We didn't know what exactly your issue was. And then I guess the cursed spirit was just like, I didn't mean to. I was running away from this dude. I thought that was pretty funny, just the interaction between the two of them as they're kind of, well, not even between the two of them, like side by side of them just trying to go against this one dude of like, we didn't know that you had an issue with this. We just kind of like saw by complete and total accident. We were just running by. But then he just kind of gets pissed, breaks out this weird attack. I saw this at the end of the chapter. Wing King, and you have his his very strange outfit, very high emphasis on his bulge, and then like you just see this dude's rock hard, like muscular ass with these very cool looking wasp wings coming out of it in like blood, seemingly, or just like liquid energy. And it was like, it wasn't something like when I saw last chapter where I saw Megumi use his area expansion, which was just super hype. This was much more like a curious, like when he says death by wasp, he has this pretty cool looking power, but nothing really to look at and be like, oh, this is going to do these things. It was much more of just like, all right, you got my attention. Where exactly are you taking this? What is this going to do? So we got a little bit of nice character like layout from Megumi at the start of the chapter, but then a very weird and funky villain to set up to get pretty pissed off. And so hopefully in the next chapter we'll see what he means like death by wasp, is if he's gonna have like maybe that like dripping weird like liquid off the wings, maybe it like attracts wasps or something, or maybe he can create like blood clones of wasps or whatever. I guess that might be if it's not blood. Tell me in the comments though what you think about this. I know my Jujutsu Kaisen reviews haven't been they're not as thick and active as a lot of my other series reviews or any of the discussion videos I do, but I do like talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. This chapter wasn't super exciting, but it was a good setup while still like laying out stuff for Megumi's character within the opening of it. And then that moment with Sukuna was very intriguing. Other than that, like I said, drop a comment below. I'd really appreciate if you thumbs up the video, prefer the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.